It's amazing how many people will use the slightest reason not to fulfill their life's purpose. And then you have people like Carina from Carina's Bakery, who takes what life has given her and makes it work to the nth degree. Hi, this is Kathleen Gage with Plant-Based Eating for Health. And today you're in for a great treat when you meet Carina from Carina's Bakery. Not only did she have a brain tumor when she was born, she's legally blind, and she runs a very successful vegan bakery just outside of Portland, Oregon. She has a three-prong approach, and today you're going to find out what that three-prong approach is and how it's serving her, the community of people with disabilities, the homeless community, and so much more. So stick around. You are in for an incredible treat.
Are you ready to live the life you deserve? Do you want to feel vibrantly healthy and reach your optimal weight without dieting while being kind to animals and the planet? Then you're in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Plant-Based Eating for Health with your host, certified plant-based nutritionist, Kathleen Gage.
Well, Carina, it is great to have you on the show. I actually found out about you. It was maybe about a year and a half ago. I heard you on a newscast, and the news station in the Beaverton, Portland area was interviewing this woman who has a vegan bakery. And I'm like, oh my gosh, a vegan bakery. That is so awesome. So tell us, first of all, how you started your vegan journey and how you started your business.
Sure. Great to be here. I've been vegan for about 10 years. First started because I had a friend who was going vegan as well, and I'd always been on all sorts of diets and things, and thought it would be a great new challenge, something I was choosing for myself rather than being forced upon by doctors, and just like the challenge of experimenting with new foods and the way I baked. And then I saw some videos, of course, on what animal injustice is done, and really became attached to the whole aspect of it. And once I got into the creativity of the baking, it just all made sense for me.
Well, I love the idea of a vegan bakery because actually Natasha and Ed up in British Columbia, they have a vegan bakery too, and they're doing incredibly well. Now, the pandemic did impact them. I've had them on my show a couple of times, and it did impact them initially, but they quickly pivoted. How did the pandemic impact what you were doing?
We've been lucky. Our business kind of has a threefold model. We're vegan, we're Scandinavian, and we employ people with disabilities. So we attract people from all three of those different markets. And the fact that we have that social impact kept people coming back in, and we're largely takeout anyway. And so, we had a couple of months of lower sales, and then people came back, and even if they were calling in, gift certificates or what have you, they kept supporting us. And we've done our best to pay that back to the community. We have a tree in the bakery that holds cards for that are $5 worth that people can buy, like a gift certificate, but they're treating it forward to another member of the community. And that person can, whether it's they're homeless or they just forgot their wallet that day and they need a treat, they can come and take something off that tree and get something worth $5 and brighten their day that way.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about the market. You said you have three primary markets or three approaches. One is the whole vegan, Scandinavia, and people with disabilities. Tell us about the people with disabilities aspect. Why is that important to you?
Sure. I was born with a brain tumor that took most of my sight. I just have like tunnel vision in my right eye, but I was also born to an entrepreneurial, pioneering family, and just got the drive to push forward back, through that, and was taught, the passion for baking from my mom and a love of food. Wanted to culminate all of that while also giving forward to other people who were having the same experience as me. I, despite getting a pastry degree and doing several free internships, could not find a job in the industry. And even after going to grad school, after a few odd jobs and kind of a internship that changed my perspective on what business could do, I wanted to make sure that that was a big part of the bakery. And so I have 7 employees now, and 5 of them have some kind of disability, mostly vision impairment, but also learning and hearing impaired. And if they, have the drive to do it, I want to show people how the creativity and innovation we have to do every day to just navigate the world can be put to use in a business.
I love that. I love that. And what's so amazing is that here you went out and got all these degrees. You got very highly educated, or you are very highly educated, and yet couldn't find a job. And you're saying, the heck with that, I'm going to start my own business. I love that. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. And you've got 7 employees now. How long has your business been around?
We're coming up on our 4th anniversary.
Nice.
We opened in October of 2017. So.
And how do people find you? Let's start with your web address, and then what's your physical address where they can actually stop in and grab some vegan pastries?
Absolutely. We're at carinasbakery.com, and we're in downtown Beaverton, Oregon, at 4725 Southwest Lombard Avenue. And we're working on an online store coming up soon. So hopefully you can support us that way too. Or just pay it forward to somebody else if you can't be here.
I love it. And I love the idea of the tree with the $5 cards on it, and that people can, like whether it's many times we've forgotten our wallet at home, or at least we say we did. And, and then, helping the homeless out. I think that is so awesome. And you're truly characteristic of the true entrepreneurial spirit. And I love that. So let's take a step back and talk about your favorite pastry to cook. What is if you could only bake one thing, what would it be?
Ooh, probably the cardamom bread. It brings me back to working with my mom and also my grandfather, who was from Sweden. Cardamom bread is a very classic Swedish item, and you can take the basic bread dough. It's a slightly sweet, rich dough, and you can do a lot of different things with it. You can fill it with the traditional cardamom paste, or you can fill it with almond paste. You can twist it. You can make buns. And it's just speaks to, the way that cultures combine in Sweden, and how they, took very limited ingredients and made something enjoyable and something to bring family and friends together around. And it's something people don't really know about. So I like to teach people about it.
Awesome. And now you're a vegan bakery. So does that mean you source only with vegan distributors? How does that work?
Largely, I try to support, local produce vendors whenever I can. And then, most of our ingredients comes from Earthly Gourmet, a vegan distributor in the area, and get high quality products from them. And we source from Sisters Coffee, which is out in Eastern Oregon. And Jasmine Pearl Tea. So we try to serve other small businesses or local businesses as much as possible.
Outstanding. And one of the things I always like to find out from people who run brick and mortar businesses, and especially vegan brick and mortar businesses, is how do you market yourself? Like, what are your main strategies for getting the word out? I'm sure there's a lot of word of mouth. If I lived in the area, I definitely would be a regular. And when I come to the Beaverton area, I definitely will stop in and see you. What are some of the strategies that you use? Do you have a media company? Do you do it yourself? Is social media part of it?
I definitely started myself in social media. I had a quick learning curve, but now I'm lucky enough to work with Loop Media here in Beaverton, and we get great looking images up on Facebook and Instagram and get people talking about it. Word of mouth is definitely the best way I get customers. But we also, do push ads, and we have a reward system in the bakery, so people can earn points, and we can catch new people that way as well. So we try to be as well-versed and distributed across different platforms.
Wonderful. Now, you do have an Instagram account, and what's the Instagram handle?
At Carina's Bakery.
Okay, at Carina's Bakery. We'll make sure to put that in the show notes. And it's something that struck me as you were sharing that information. Right now, there's a real challenge for restaurants to find help and staff. And have you gone through that problem?
Yeah, I have had a little bit of that. We're growing fast, and I am looking to kind of diversify, looking for manager quality people. And definitely when people, I'm lucky enough that I have employees who connect well with the vision and they become dedicated. But some of the newer people are just trying to figure out what they want. And sometimes they don't always stay or don't always feel that dedication. So it takes time to find that. And I did have somebody who I, thought was going to be a great fit and didn't last very long. So we just, it's always long hours and just trying to push through that until we find the right people. But luckily I have the backbone of loyal people to keep me going.
That's wonderful. Well, it's so funny when people say, oh, you're so lucky to be an entrepreneur. You get to pick your own hours. It's like, yeah, which 20 am I going to pick?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, because I've had my business 27 years and actually I'm a keynote speaker. And when the pandemic hit, it literally decimated a big part of my business because I would go to conferences and I had to reinvent myself. And it was the perfect opportunity for me to move my skill set into the vegan and plant-based industry. And my background is all about marketing and book writing and things of that nature. But it was scary there for a while. And a lot of people don't understand the journey of an entrepreneur. They think that, we just decide to run a business and that's it. But I want to talk about two sides of running a business. You've got your customer base and you've got your staff. As an entrepreneur who has a successful business that is in a very niche market, but you've really got that trifecta approach going on between the vegan market, the Scandinavia market, and the disability market. And I'm sure there's things that outliers on that, but with your customer base, for somebody who is thinking of starting a business, regardless of the type of business it is, but let's say it's a brick and mortar, what is your advice to an entrepreneur who really wants to build a loyal customer base?
You have to find the balance between listening to customers and what they want and need versus the unique product that you're trying to provide. And you have to, have some sort of backbone that you stick to that product. And, once you get feedback that is good and some people like it, really market that. But at the same time, if people don't like it, then you have to flex a little bit. My challenge is, I have a lot of great products people like, and people are always coming and asking me for something different. And some of it I capitulated to, like we do provide a lot of cakes for birthdays and stuff like that when I was not looking to be a cakery at all. But then, they'll come ask me for, Italian cannolis and donuts and all these sorts of things. And if I get too sucked into that, then I have no time for everything else and overwork myself and maybe, make people unhappy because it's not what they were expecting. So, know your limits, I guess. And
I love that. And I want to remind people that this is Kathleen Gage. You're listening to Plant-Based Eating for Health. And I'm talking with Carina Comer, who is with Carina's Bakery in Beaverton, Oregon. And I encourage you, when you're in the area, definitely stop by and see Carina and tell her you heard it on the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show. Now, Carina, with your staff, how do you create staff loyalty? Because that is a big issue for people these days where, we're going through issues of minimum wage. We're going through issues of the pandemic. People are afraid. We just recently in Oregon, because I'm outside of Eugene, we just recently had another mask mandate, which, there's mixed feelings on that. But how do you create that staff loyalty?
It really comes down to, respect and, keeping them connected, understanding their story, and what they want out of the job, as well as, understanding what else they have going on. All my staff work various amount of hours. I'm flexible if they have other jobs or if they only want to work, 15 hours, that's fine. At the same time, they're flexible that if I need someone to come in on call, they're usually available. And, I've tried to find the job that best fits their needs, even if it wasn't the original job I hired them for, fits their skills and what they like to do. I mean, it shows in the job. I have, learning impaired employee, but she greets everybody with the most enthusiasm, and she bounces around while doing that and cleaning, and you can just see that she loves to be here, feels appreciated, and therefore she wants to stay with me. And as much as I get busy and sometimes I get overstressed or don't get to something that they'd like me to, we try to create a network of understanding and openness that we can talk to each other.
I love that. I love that because it's like, just the passion that people will have for being in an environment where they're appreciated, because bottom line is people need to be appreciated, especially in light of everything that's going on today. You mentioned when you first went vegan that you did it for health reasons more than anything, and then it transferred over to the animals. Let's talk about that. How important is the whole issue of raising awareness around what goes on with animals in factory farms, in just the abuses that animals go through? How important is that to you?
Very important. I mean, I'm not the most outspoken person, so you don't see me out there as much, but I definitely think that more people need to understand that. And I think by, teaching them what a vegan product can taste like and how good it can be, you're opening their eyes to that new world. And then they might go and check out, well, why is vegan important? So just by being there and having that option starts to make a change.
I love it. And I want to remind people again to visit your website, which is carinasbakery.com. That's carinasbakery.com. Am I correct on that? Did I get that right? Okay. Yep. And, it's so interesting because recently I had the opportunity to interview Jane Velez Mitchell, who has Jane's Unchained podcast show. And she's a very outspoken advocate. And she said, we all do our advocacy in our own way. And, for a while there, I was thinking I'm not doing enough for the animals. And then I realized, my podcast show is a way that I do my advocacy, just like your bakery. The fact that it's a vegan bakery, that raises awareness and that gets people thinking about, this is, amazing food, and no animal was harmed in the process. So first of all, I want to say, Carina, I'm so delighted that you have been able to put time out of your busy schedule to come on the show, because I love sharing the message of what people are doing out in the community, whether locally or nationally or internationally, for the animals, for veganism, for our health, for the environment. Your final thoughts for people. What would you like to leave people with as your parting thoughts?
Find a way to make your impact, whether it's supporting or being part of a business that's, trying to change something, or, starting something yourself. You don't have to be, you can be an introvert and still have an impact and be an advocate. And do it quietly. And I'm hoping here to start a nonprofit soon called the Butterfly Project that will make way for more people with disabilities to be involved in small businesses or start them themselves and find the employment that they deserve.
I love that. Because my sister-in-law, she has a disability. She's missing her left arm. And I had a sister who had disabilities, and I actually never met that sister, but she's one of my angels. And so I really, really support what you're doing. And what is it you need to move forward with that nonprofit? If you could just wave a magic wand and say, okay, this is what I need. Do you need funding? Do you need mentors? Do you need sponsors? What do you need?
Definitely funding is part of it, more so to help my business get to a point that I can step away enough to make that nonprofit happen. But yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing.
Okay, well, I want to encourage anybody out there listening or watching that when you hear this, and if you get that calling, if you feel that the butterfly is impacting your heart, reach out to Carina and let's get this thing going. And Carina, this has been delightful. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I, again, want to remind people that you've been listening to the Plant-Based Eating for Health show. Please leave a review and share this message with other people. Carina, you be blessed and have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment to an ethical life through plant-based food choices. The kind of choices that are kind to your body, the environment, and most of all, animals. Be sure to leave a review and rating of the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show.